Now, let's talk about a film that's coming out in November of next year about a group of immortals created by Disney legend Jack Kirby in a film we call The Eternals.
How's it going, guys? It's Dylan from Anything Super, and there was a huge 4chan leak today regarding Marvel Studios' upcoming movie, The Eternals. We didn't know too much about the film yet, but this news helps a lot. The leak comes from someone who worked on the movie's CGI and is now saying what they know about the story and characters. We're going to break everything down in just a moment, but before we get into that, make sure to punch the subscribe button and fist bump the notification bell so you stay up to date. This channel is just starting out, so any help is greatly appreciated. Now, if this in any way might ruin your experience of watching the Eternals movie, pause the video right now, and I'll see you next time. But if you're okay with possible minor spoilers, keep watching. Alright, let's break down this leak. Here's what the 4chan user had to say. I've been dying to share this, but I had to wait until my team was off the project. I've never gotten to work on a movie of this level before, but COVID must have led to Marvel outsourcing CG to my country. I'm a huge fan of the MCU, I know, stupid baby cape stuff, but I didn't know anything about Eternals going into this. I read almost everything I could get my hands on in my free time on the project. I work on particle effects, so I only really saw the scenes I was working on over and over. Kit Harington is definitely the 90s leather jacket Avengers style Black Knight. Looks like Judge Dredd mixed with Mal from Firefly. I worked a lot on his sword. It's a lightsaber essentially, but it visually reads very different than Star Wars. It's hard to describe, but it truly looks like it's made out of light, and not a color beam. It has lots of cast off-on contact like Kylo's saber. Wow, that's not even half of the leak so far. Even still, we learned a ton of stuff. This leak could be false, so take it with a grain of salt. However, these details seem pretty realistic, and there's a decent chance this person is telling the truth. The first section of this update talks a lot about Kit Harington. He's set to play Dane Whitman, aka Black Knight. This person describes the look of Harington in the movie, saying he looks like a mix between Judge Dredd and Mal from Firefly. So we can tell Marvel's going for a dark, broody vibe with this character. He probably won't be joking around too much. Then, this insider explains what Black Knight's sword is like. He never mentions the actual name, but in the comics, Dane Whitman wields something called the Ebony blade, and it gets passed down. According to the leak, the blade is similar to a lightsaber, as it seems as if it's made out of light. Okay, let's read what the rest of the update says. Sprite has a Na'vi-esque little fairy companion. It seems to be related to her powers, but I didn't get enough context on that to say for sure. Phastos has a weapons forge or something where he's making a gun that shoots swords. Why they need guns, I have no idea. Scene felt like Iron Man in the cave crafting his suit. Kingo seems to be immensely powerful, which makes me wonder how overpowered Ikaris, Cersei, and Ajax must be. He pretty much has Quicksilver and Captain Marvel's powers combined. I worked extensively on a super memorable sequence of him saving an entire city from a deviant attack in ancient Samaria. Remember the phrase, "not the dog." The only other scene I briefly worked on is Ikaris flying from space into our atmosphere. Basically just Richard Madden, very Superman style coming to the planet. Even more to break down here. We really couldn't have asked for more interesting tidbits of information. It's obvious we can't know the entire plot with this, but there are certainly huge details about the storyline and characters in the leak. Firstly, they describe one of the Eternals, Sprite. Sprite looks like a kid, but she is just as much of an Eternal as the rest. Apparently, she has a little friend who looks like the fairy from Legend of Zelda. Next, they mention another Eternal named Phastos, who works on building a lot of weapons for the team. It looks like he's going to create a sword-shooting gun of some kind. The leak describes Kingo as really powerful, with speed and strength being his specialties, which mean the other, stronger Eternals must be super overpowered. But that's not all. This person goes on to say they know of a scene where Kingo saves a whole city. This is really important. Here's why. At San Diego Comic-Con, Kevin said that the story of the Eternals would span many years. This city-saving scene could be near the beginning, and show Kingo's place in history. Expect a long backstory of the team and how they affected others. Lastly, the leak mentions Ikaris, who's going to be played by Richard Madden. You could be seeing Ikaris arriving on Earth in a very Superman-style fashion in the film. This is truly fantastic. We now have a ton of information regarding Black Knight and his ebony sword, details on Sprite and his fairy friend, news of Phastos making weapons, as well as info on Kingo and Ikaris. We cannot say for sure that this is confirmed, but this update is super realistic and likely a true story. If it is indeed a real leak, then I'm even more ready to watch the Eternals in February. Anyhow, that's all we have for you guys today, so make sure to kick the subscribe button because whenever new information comes out, we'll be reporting it. Also, comment down below which Eternals character you're most excited to see. See you all very soon. This has been Dylan from Anything Super.